Ayan. Okay, so hello everyone and good afternoon. And this is EM 149, Minerals Industry Visit and Assessment for the mid-year term 2020 to 2021, along with another class EM 169, that's Mine Plant Practice. So for today, we are going to have a speaker from Cagdianao Mining Corporation. So this is Engineer Christian Gascon. Ayan. So as you've heard earlier, alumni din siya ng UP Diliman, also from the BSEM program. And he's currently the Mine Operations Manager for CMC. And so just for a quick review ng mga guidelines for the talk. Okay, so hopefully we could all mute our microphones until the video's presentation and the speaker is finished. And you may ask your questions during the Q&A portion. So for the Q&A portion, raise your hand if you have any questions, and we will unmute your microphone. And additional questions can be sent through the Zoom chat. And I will also be posting a Mentimeter link, just in case you would want to ask questions anonymously. Ayun. So, Sir Christian, you may share your screen.
Okay. Madam, nakashare ka pa?
Ay.
Ayan ko lang.
Okay na po.
Share. Visible na ba yung presentation?
Yes po.
Lahat pa dito ay Filipino o merong foreigner na students?
Lahat naman po ay
Nagtatagalog, so nakaintindi. So anyways, good afternoon everyone. I am Christian Gascon, the Mine Operations Manager of Cagdianao Mining Corporation. I am a mining engineering profession and graduated, as said earlier, in UP Diliman also, year 2010. So student number ko 2005. Today, I will give you an overview on the mining operations of CMC and some of the industry's best practices we employ here at our mine site and communities. Brief overview lang dito sa presentation na ito, sa page na ito. This was our battle cry in last year, 2020, during the pre-pandemic days. We regularly conduct team building activities prior to the start of our operations, so that everyone in the group knows the overall goal of the team and each department's individuals' objectives for the year. In last year, we used the battle cry CMC Go Big, bigger goals, as we aim to increase our annual targets, inspired actions as we try to continually improve our processes and systems, and greater heights as we try to surpass our accomplishments in the previous years. Unfortunately, this year, we were not able to have our annual team building due to the restrictions and lockdowns. So we are still using this battle cry, CMC Go Big, this 2021. In this presentation, I will give a brief background in the operation of CMC, from mining, safety and health, environmental protection, social development activities, as well as our challenges during the pandemic and the achievements in recent years. Cagdianao Mining Corporation, or CMC, is located in the northeastern part of Mindanao, specifically in the province of Dinagat Island, as highlighted in this map. CMC is 100% owned by Nickel Asia Corporation, the parent company. CMC is an ISO certified company for the Quality Management System 9001, Environmental Management System 14001, and Occupational Safety and Health Management System 45001. CMC is the authorized mining operator of the Valencia Nickel Project, of which East Coast Mineral Resources Company Incorporated is the owner of the MPSA. The land area is 697 hectares, and the MPSA was granted last 1997, which is also the start of its operations. Our main products are saprolite and limonite, the sources of nickel and iron. Our current markets are in China, in Japan, and in Coral Bay in Palawan. We are using open cast mining method in our operations, being a shallow deposit of about 20 to 30 meters depth. Regarding our mineral deposit, CMC project site has an extensive deposit of nickel laterite. These are formed through constant weathering of the nickel silicate-bearing ultramafic rocks. It is formed mostly in tropical countries where there are constant rains and in areas with relatively flat topographies. As you have learned in geology, laterite deposits are composed of the following major layers. Limonite zone, those with high iron content but low in nickel. The saprolite zone, low in iron but high in nickel. And the bedrock, which is also the parent rock, both low in nickel and iron. In CMC, we mine and ship out the limonite and saprolite materials. Our mining operations is a continuous cycle of activities. First, we conduct drilling in areas of interest to assess the mineralization and to delineate the extent of the deposit. In CMC, we use hydraulic drills with NQ-sized single tube barrels. This will give us an idea on the subsurface lithologies and formation, which will be the basis for our ore body modeling. We divide the ore body into ore blocks. That will be used for the grade estimation. From this, we can calculate our resources. Using the same ore blocks, we can now compute for the reserves. In this part, we input all considerations in our planning, the mining metallurgical processes, economic considerations, environmental and social factors. The LOM plan is our long-term plan. However, this still needs to be refined for implementation. Thus, we do the annual mine planning, scheduling, and budgeting. So after all the planning, we can now implement our plans. In all aspects of our mining phases, we always incorporate our safety and health, environmental protection and enhancement, and social development and management programs. In support to the activities mentioned in the previous slide, this is our organizational structure at CMC. We have the ORMM, or the Office of the Resident Mine Manager, which are composed of departments primarily handling regulatory and compliance requirements of the mine site. So this includes safety, health, environment, accounting, community relations, site security, and human resources. The Mine Operations Group are responsible for exploring, developing, mining, and shipping of the ore deposit. So these are the departments under the Mine Operations Group: geology, mine engineering, mine production, and ore shipment. The main support groups are the mine administration, responsible for supporting the camp activities and employees' needs and other utility activities, and the technical services, responsible for maintaining the good condition of the equipment and camp facilities. During the planning and budgeting stage, the following factors should be considered. First, we should know the available ore based on our LOM, what are the sequence of materials to be mined from the first year up to the last year. Then we'll check if there are available markets for that ore. As an example, nickel laterite market is very unstable. It can go as high as $50 this month and can dip as low as $30 next month, the following month. So you should take this in consideration during budgeting for the allowances of on grades and mining flexibility. The next are the permits required to mine the ore. One example is the tree cutting permit. which is an important permit we need to secure before we can open or mine in forested areas. Since we are on open pit mining, our operation is highly dependent on the weather. Thus, we should consider this also during budgeting to properly schedule our activities. Being a direct shipping ore or DSO, our ore from mine are loaded onto barges and delivered to the mother vessel. So sea conditions are very critical in our operations, especially that CMC is facing the Pacific Ocean, which can be quite an issue due to frequent sea swells. Of course, our activities cannot be done without our equipment and support facilities. So, in our budgeting and planning stage, we should consider the type of equipment to use, the capacity and sizes, number of fleets, the offices, the campsite, laboratories, shops, and other facilities to support the mining and employees' needs. Also, we have to consider the manpower needed for our activities, the required technical and skilled employees, and its availability in our local communities. Here in CMC, as much as we can, we prioritize hiring of the local residents. That is for budget planning. So moving to the mine planning parameters, the following should be considered. First, the ground condition and topography. As mentioned earlier, our deposit is a weathered product of a host rock. Nickel laterite grounds are softer than solid rocks, which should be the basis for our pit slopes, angles, bench height, widths, and other technical parameters in designing our mine pits. Second is the target tonnage to mine and ship out. This is important to determine the stripping ratio or the waste to ore ratio to balance the daily material output. In CMC, our daily mining rate is 42,000 wet metric tons per day and shipping rate of 24,000 tons per day. After we have established the first two parameters, we can now determine the right equipment to be used for our operations. The loading, hauling, and receiving equipment, as well as the auxiliary and support equipment such as graders, dosers, compactors, and the likes. Of course, in support to our tonnage movement, we need to have available areas for our stock yards and other dumping areas. These are crucial in our planning as they may potentially limit our mining capacities if not properly designed. Lastly, equally important are the road networks for area interconnectivity and the drainage systems for runoff water control. Being an open pit mine, which is highly susceptible to weather changes, especially during rains, good roads and drainage are very vital to our operations. So these are the technical and equipment parameters we used in our planning. Since laterite cannot support high wall due to the quality of the soil, we limit the bench height to approximately 3 meters with a width of at least 3 meters to allow passage for trucks and heavy equipment during mining activities. However, during final mining, we reduce it to 1 meter, which is stable enough for subsequent backfilling and rehabilitation activities. For benches, we set an angle of 60 to 90 degrees based on the soil quality, and the overall pit slope is 60 degrees. We design our roads in such a way that it can safely accommodate the volume of traffic, especially for the hauling and heavy equipment mobilization. For better and efficient travel, we design the roads at maximum of 10% gradient, which is 1 meter rise for every 10 meters run and at least 3 meters wide. As for the equipment, the main considerations are the capacity and the size which the nickel laterite soil can bear. Nickel laterite ground is soft relative to other deposits. Thus, weight is crucial to our equipment selection. Too heavy equipment, though it may lessen the equipment requirement, may lead to very high road maintenance, while too light equipment may affect the efficiency and productivity due to lower capacities and would require more equipment to get the volume. In CMC, uh, we use hydraulic excavators as our main loading unit with bucket capacities of 1.1 to 1.5 cubic meters. For hauling, we use trucks with dump box capacities of about 15 to 20 cubic meters. Uh, this slide shows the general mining process of our operations during actual implementation. So first, we clear the area from any vegetation. That's clearing and grabbing. Then uh, we pilot the area or develop it for road construction and other activities necessary to safely access the areas. After we have cleared and developed the area, topographic survey will be conducted, which will serve as our baseline topo of the area. To ensure that we will mine within the bounds of our plans, we delineate the limits of the mining cuts or slices. After the survey, topsoil will be removed to expose the ore underneath. The waste will be hauled to its designated dumping areas. The waste materials are used for the progressive rehabilitation efforts of CMC. Once the ore are exposed, ore mining commences. The ore can either be hauled first, number one, to the stockpile for further segregation, sizing, reduction, or solar drying, or it can be hauled directly to barges for shipping. To ensure the quality of the materials we are shipping out, we conduct ore sampling throughout our processes, and within the blue box are the processes where our quality and grade control are strictly being implemented. Since nickel laterite is a direct shipping ore, there are no need for further mineral processing as for the case of CMC. However, in two of our sister companies, in Rio Tuba and in Taganito Mining, they have mineral processing for limonite materials, which is the high pressure acid leach or HPAL plants. As I mentioned earlier, throughout our mining operations, we implement programs for our safety, health, environment protection, and social development. So, for safety and health, in the last years, 2016 to 2020, we have spent a total of 54 million for various safety and health activities. And due to the intensified safety and health programs, we were able to reduce our recorded accidents year on year. For environmental protection, a total of 221 million have been used for environmental rehabilitation and conservation efforts, with a total of 47 hectares rehabilitated for the last 5 years. Uh, in the social aspect, 547 projects have been implemented in the host communities amounting to 163 million, and based on our recent social impact assessment survey conducted by a third-party consultant in our host communities, we received a 97% approval rating on the SDMP implementation. In terms of the taxes and royalties paid to the government, uh, from 2016 to 2020, we paid an accumulated amount of 819 million. Uh, so how did COVID-19 pandemic affected our operations? Basically, in our mining activities, it did little, but it affected us very much in the in and out of personnel during hiring and the movements of deliveries of materials and goods, especially for spare parts needed for equipment repairs. However, since we have stock since last year before the lockdown, we were able to manage, but the prolonged travel restriction this year may adversely affect our operations. Of course, the inconsistent and varying implementation of the policies at the start of the lockdowns are very confusing. which quite delayed some of our activities, especially in relation to the COVID response. Last year, for number three, the whole site was put in lockdown. Even community employees are not allowed to leave the site. This strained our camp resources because of the volume of the people to be accommodated inside the camp. So we have problems with food distribution and other logistical problems. Fortunately, this happened during the last month of our operation, so the lockdown was shortened. But despite the challenges, CMC still managed to accomplish all its targets for the year and was given recognition for its exemplary performance. In 2018, we were awarded the Platinum Achievement Award and the Most Improved Safety Performance during the annual Mine Safety and Environmental Conference in Baguio City. In 2019, we received the most prestigious mining award, which is the Presidential Mineral Industry Environmental Award, the safest mining operation, and the safest surface mining operation, as well as the ECOP Special Award for Responsible and Ethical Business Conduct. In 2020, last year, for the second time, we were awarded with the Presidential Mineral Industry Environmental Award and was a runner-up for the safest surface mining operation. So that is all for the mining operations and best practices of Cajana Mining Corporation. If you would like to know more, you can visit our Facebook page at Cajano Miners or you visit our website at nickelasia.com. So that's all for my presentation. However, after this, I'll show you some video presentation to give you a wider perspective on our operation. So thank you. Uh, I'll just load the video lang.
Thank you very much, Paul. And we'll just, the students will just be putting their questions in the chat and then we'll read them for later.
Cajano Mining Corporation is a subsidiary of Nickel Asia Corporation, one of the biggest nickel producers in the Philippines. The company exports saprolite and limonite ore, operating within the Surigao Mineral Reservation in Cajano, province of Dinagat Islands. CMC has contributed significantly to its host and neighboring community, namely Barangay Valencia, Barangay Boa, and Barangay Legazpi of the municipality of Cajano, and Situ May Tubig of Barangay Bayanihan in the municipality of Libho. As a result of the exemplary and consistent implementation of their safe, socially conscious, and environmentally responsible operations, CMC was recognized as one of the top performing mining companies in the country and was awarded the 2019 Presidential Mineral Industry Environmental Award, along with awards for safest mining operations and the most improved mining operations. As of the end of June 2020, Cajano Mining Corporation has accumulated 12.7 million man-hours without any lost time incident. The company strives to continually improve its performance in maintaining the health of the workers of the company by providing a safe and comfortable working conditions as well as the well-being of community members living in nearby villages. CMC ensures that all facilities used in all its mining activities complies with the occupational health and safety standards. CMC is ISO certified to ensure that appropriate systems and procedures for a safe and healthy workplace are in place. In 2019, CMC successfully transitioned from 18001-2015 management system to ISO 45001-2018 occupational safety and health management system. CMC has also successfully retained its accreditation for ISO 14001-2015 on environment management management system, and ISO 9001:2015 Good Quality Management System. Occupational health education is also part of this program so that all workers are aware of the hazards and the risks associated with their jobs. In addition, pre-employment orientation to all newly hired and trainings to retain personnel are conducted regularly to improve their competencies towards a safety performance. On top of the SDMP, the residents of these communities also benefited from the company's corporate social responsibility funds, which are extended in the whole province of the Dinagat Islands and to other communities affected by natural calamities. By providing prompt technical and relief assistance such as first aid, relief goods, food bags, and other essentials to the victims of the disasters. Environmental protection and enhancement programs are of utmost importance in the operations of CMC. These include land management, water resources quality, air quality, noise quality, conservation of biodiversity, research and development, monitoring and compliance, among others. Our goal is to transform the mind of Valencia into an agroforest as its final land use through progressive rehabilitation. Thus, while still under its active mining operations, the CMC's mining forest program is geared towards the agricultural development of mined out areas to provide additional value on rehabilitated areas as mine ecotourism development sites. With this in mind, CMC puts premium in research and development, particularly on the applicability of agriculture as a mine rehabilitation strategy. Members of the community are likewise engaged in the rehabilitation process through local employment and provision of technical and skills training on mine rehabilitation. Over the years, the social development and management program has significantly improved the general well-being of the host and the neighboring communities of Gaggenau Mining Corporation. The SDNP implements the best practices in the industry for community development, adapting the sustainable development goals of the United Nations through the company's social development and management program and corporate social responsibility projects. It focuses on the improvement of health services, education, livelihood, and skills development, public utilities, and social cultural values. Some of the projects include social infrastructure that complement the existing livelihood programs, food security programs, potable water, and opening of roads to connect isolated barangays such as Buwak, Legazpi, and Valencia. CMC believes that the sustainable and people-centered implementation of the SDMP is key to the improved living standards, greater economic, educational, and life opportunities for the company's host and neighboring communities. The Information, Education, and Communication, or IEC, of CMC promotes public awareness and education on mining technology and geosciences. All information relating to mining operations, safety, health, environmental management, and most especially the SDMP and CSR of the company are relayed to different stakeholders through several forms of media channels. CMC has touched the lives of people as it consistently steers its sails towards responsible mining through effective leadership and efficient implementation of its safety and health management, environmental management, and social development programs. Even in these trying times, CMC has positioned itself in response to the national health crisis brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic, expanding several projects that would generate employment, create livelihood, and increase revenues to the government. CMC remains steadfast in its corporate mission to empower its people, develop its communities, and nurture the environment.
Wait, may isa pang ipe-present lang, very short video lang to na highlight lang ng through the years ng CMC.
Sige po. Thank you.
So, that's all for my presentation and thank you for listening. Magandang hapon.
Ayan. Thank you very much po. And so, can we see some reactions from the students who have listened to our speaker? Ayan, sige.
Ano na yan?
So, Let's now move on po to the Q&A portion. I've sent in the chat a link for Menti, just in case there are students who want to ask anonymously. But there are some questions here in the Zoom chat. Let's address one of these first, and then siguro yung how many are they? Ayun, dalawa lang pala. All right. The first question is from Janice. How many months per year do you operate?
So, ang operations natin dito sa CMC ay nahati sa dalawa. Ang ah, off-season natin at saka yung operating months. Ang CMC kasi very susceptible dun sa weather change nga nung sinabi ko. So, meron dalawang amihan season and habagat season. So during amihan season, yun yung mga rainy days dito from uh, October to April. So off-season natin yan. From May to September, iyan naman yung operating months natin.
Okay po, thank you for that. Can I just ask kung kita na po ba yung naka-share na screen?
Yes,
Sige po.
ma'am.
Sige po. So, let's just go through these as well. Good afternoon. What is your flagship program for the communities? And how did the pandemic affect the SDMPs and CSR initiatives?
Pwede ko ba siyang i-email na lang sa yung mga response diyan para i-consult ko din sa aming
Sige po.
community
No problem.
relations. Sila kasi mas nakakaalam yan. Pero mostly mga infrastructure projects yung last year, yung development ng, kung naano nyo dun sa video, yung road network connecting the 3 barangays. So yun yung isang naging flagship program namin. And yung direction for the year, I will consult with our Comrel team para maibigay kung ano yung mga flagship programs namin.
Sige po. Thank you very much po. And email na lang po namin yung mga ibang questions na baka hindi masagot ngayon. And there's a follow-up.
Puro ba ito related sa mga STMP or NBI?
Hindi naman po, I think. Actually, I haven't gone through everything. Pero may follow-up question po doon sa first question. Ano po ang ginagawa ng project personnel during off-season months?
Project personnel? So yung mga karamihan ay nakabakasyon. So, and mostly yung mga trabaho namin during off-season, yung mga planning. Mostly planning stages dyan. Budgeting, planning yan.
So, another question po, still from the chat. Do you implement swell factor during mining?
Swell factor. Oh, yeah. May mga yan. May swell factor, may mga parameters tayo para ma-compute yung tonnage from in-situ volume to loose volume. Yes.
Thank you po. And another question po related sa how the pandemic affected yung operations. What is the daily mine production rate po before the pandemic, and how was this affected?
As nasabi ko nga kanina, sa mining activities natin, very minimal yung effect nung yung pandemic since before nga mag-lockdown, yung mga necessary equipments and necessary manpower natin na andito na, and yung mga spare parts, yan. So, same yung last year, yung aming daily rate ay nasa 45,000 per day. So, same pa din yan with pandemic and wala. So, other aspect lang kami na apektuhan, especially dun sa mga project implementations para dun sa mga environmental at saka yung mga social. So doon mostly naapektuhan kami ng lockdowns and restrictions. Pero in general sa mining activities, wala naman.
Sige po. Thank you very much. And my follow-up question din po doon sa off-season na tanong. May sweldo po ba during off-season?
Oo, meron. Pag regular ka, meron yan parate.
Sige po. And another question here from Menti. What percentage of your workforce comes from the local community?
As far as I can recall, mga nasa 60% yung mga hinahire namin, especially yung mga support non-skilled laborers and mga support utility personnel.
Ay. Another question po, I think this is related doon sa earlier question. Ano po yung swell na nangyari?
Swell, ito ba yung may swell kasi swell factor ba ito sa mina o swell ito sa ito sea conditions ang ano kasi niyan ay kung mai-imagine nyo yung sa Siargao, yung mga waves na ganun, na-experience din namin dito yon. So during malakas ang alon, mataas talaga ang swell. During the months of October nga, tumataas siya as high as yung siguro mga 3-story na building, yung ganung mga swell.
Oo, ang taas. Medyo mataas-taas din.
Oo, nakakatakot yung biyahe, lalo na pag sea travel during off-season or yung mga October months, yung mga bear months. Dahil amihan season, mataas talaga yung mga sea swell dito.
Sige po. Thank you for that as well. Ayun po. Hi po, good afternoon. Is there any use of AI or machine learning in any part of the mining process in CNC?
We are tying up with Caraga State University regarding sa mga automation and other ganitong klaseng mga systems. Pero we're still under negotiation and talks with them para dito sa ito nga yung implementation, yung testing ng mga ano natin, itong mga ganitong klaseng innovations. So currently mostly mga software lang ang ating ano dito. So yun.
Yan. Mukhang ano pa lang tayo, medyo baby steps pa lang po ang Pilipinas sa pag-include ng AI or machine learning sa mining operations.
Oo, medyo delayed talaga tayo by how many years talaga compared to other countries talaga.
Australia,
implementation dito sa ganitong mga klaseng technologies.
Ayun po. So, related question na aside from yung current na tie-up nyo with CSU and yung mga ibang software, are there any modern technology being used? Kunyari po mga equipment, ganon, in CMC?
Sa yung mga recent ano lang natin na technology na in-employ ay mga nasa mostly mga surveying, nasa yung drone technology, yan. So hindi na yung mga mano-mano na ground na RTK. So yan na yung ginagamit natin. And sa other systems, yun nga, we're still looking on how we can apply yung mga different technologies, especially sa mining activities natin.
So, relating po doon sa software, ano po yung mga usual na ginagamit ninyo? Kunyari po, Serpa, Whittle, ganun.
Meron tayong Whittle for yung life of mine planning. Meron tayong Serpa for general planning. Meron tayong Mindshed for strategic planning. Yun. Kasi previously meron kaming gems pero i-phase out na kasi yun. So, hindi na natin masyadong ginagamit. So, yun yung mga mining softwares na ginagamit natin dito sa site.
So yung sa ano po, hindi na po kayo gumagamit ng kunyari for soil mechanics na software.
Ah, hindi na tayo hindi kasi tayo masyadong ano dyan sa mga soil kaya hindi tulad dun sa other deposits tulad ng mga hard rocks na kailangan talaga yun. So sa atin hindi na natin ini-employ yung mga ganyan uh, technology.
Yan. Sige po. Thank you for answering that po. Ito po. What is the plant that you are mandated to grow by the NR and Penro?
Basta ang isang ano nila, meron silang bamboo. Isa yan sa mga directive ng from the ANR, bamboo plantation. So we allotted at least 5 hectares para dyan sa bamboo plantation. Then ang ina-encourage kasi nila talaga yung mga endemic or local species. So yun din yung nila inaano namin. Itinatanim.
Thank you again po. And I think, this is maybe another related question dun sa kanina. Are there any mining processes, technology, or practices that Cagayanao Mining Corporation prides itself in doing that separates them from the rest?
So, sa mining process, kung siguro sa kung sa from other nickel mines, medyo behind talaga ang nickel mining sa mga pagdating sa mga technologies. So, what differentiates yung ginagawa namin? So, yun nga, we employ yung mga softwares from our planning up to the implementation stage namin. So, and also yung mga drilling activities natin na ginagawa, pinoconduct natin dito sa site that gives us an overview of our deposit para ma-properly model natin yung ating deposit. Currently kasi ang mga practices especially sa mga nickel mining ay face sampling, kung aware kayo. So medyo hindi masyadong ang drilling sa nickel. So iyon yung isang good practice na ginagawa namin dito sa Cagayanao. So from the start, before we mine, we know what's on the ground. Then siyempre, yung mga practices na pinakita nga namin sa inyo kanina during for our environmental protection and yung social development.
Okay po. Thank you very much po again for answering this. Ayan, I think nasagot na rin po ito. So, Surpac, Mindshed, and Whittle. Ito po. Given that you aim to make the mining area an agroforest for post-land use, do you also conduct livelihood programs for teaching the locals about best agricultural practices?
Yes, so part yan ng aming program, especially yung i-share yung knowledge especially sa agricultural farming, since yun nga yung namin. So nag-i-invest na rin kami para sa skills development ng mga local.
Sige po. So, maybe we could also include this kung gusto ng students ng mas maraming detail. Include na lang din po siguro namin sa isa-send na email.
Sige.
Sige po. Ayan. Good afternoon. It was mentioned that the mine is exposed to different and changing environmental conditions. So, I think this is relating doon sa ulan, I suppose. So, what are the effects of these and how do you deal with it?
So, unlike hard rocks, pag umulan, pwede pa tayo mag-proceed. Ngayon, pag umulan dito sa CMC, even na konting ambon nga lang, yung road medyo na nag-wet na talaga, nasa-saturate na siya. So, medyo lumalambot yung lupa. And then, syempre, yung nickel laterite, masyado siyang madulas pag nabasa. So, nagiging unsafe yung mga conditions natin. Kaya, pag during rains, especially, stop operation din tayo dyan.
And so aside from
Pag
the rain,
ulan,
ay sige, okay, go lang po.
what are the effects of this? So, yun nga. So, nagiging unsafe yung ating condition ng mine areas dahil nga nagiging madulas. And how do we deal with it? So, sa mga haul roads natin, we do yung mga all-weather roads. Yun yung mga ginagawa natin, all-weather roads. Pero siyempre, yung sa mga access road, in-pit access, yun medyo mahirap na gawing all-weather. Pero yung mga, ano natin dito, yung mga haul roads, yung mga main haul roads, lahat yan ay all-weather. So possible anytime, any condition. Yun lang talaga yung pit roads ang problema natin during those situations.
Yun po. Thank you. So, aside from the rain, you may ibang changing environmental conditions na naka-affect dun sa operations.
So rains, syempre, pag sobrang, although gusto naman natin na sobrang yung maaraw, sikat yung araw, pero that would lead naman sa especially pag nagtandem sila ng hangin, yung dust generation. So yan yung mga nagiging isang nakaka-affect din.
Kapag extremes. Sige po, thank you. Browse ko lang po saglit yung mga ibang questions. Ay. So, have there been protests by individuals outside or in host communities? How were these problems resolved and dealt with by the community?
Ano ba yun yung protest? Yung nagwewelga sa labas? Ganun ba? If that, wala pong experience na ganyan. Pero siyempre, merong mga concerns yung mga communities na inire-raise sa natin, sa mga community relations group natin regarding sa mga issues nga na encounter nila with our operations activities. Pero yung welga sa labas na protest, wala pa naman.
So out of curiosity po, kung familiar po kayo nung nag-start yung operations ng Cagdanao, paano yung reception ng mga tao doon? Against ba sila nung una? Ganun po.
So, since hindi ako masyadong familiar na nag-start talaga, pero nung inabutan ko na dito, medyo receptive naman yung mga tao. So, since 2010, so accepted nila yung operations dito sa Valencia.
Sige po. Thank you again for that. Ito, will CMC plant in each PAL like its sister company? Ayun siya sa sa mineral processing.
We are hoping the same, kaya lang medyo magastos kasi ang pagpapatayo ng HPAL plant. Parang ang investment ko dyan ay $1 billion. Yan, yung sa taga dito HPAL yun. 1 billion. So, kailangan mo ma-recoup yung mga ganyang di ba? Investments. So, and ang cases kasi doon sa other sister companies namin, malaki yung area, maraming deposit. So, kahit na merong deposit yung kung si taga nito, merong other sources sa ibang mga nearby mining companies din kung mawawalan. Dito kasi sa CMC, limited nga yung areas. Sabi ko nga 600 hectares lang. So, medyo malabo na magkaroon ng plant for that.
Ayun. So, may question po ngayon sa chat. HPAL, ayun, for those who are not familiar, this is the high pressure acid leach, short leach or leaching. Pero para siya sa mineral processing. And so ginagamit siya ng taga nito. So it's called the THPAL. Ayan. So taga nito is also under Nickel Asia Corporation. Ayan. So, next question po. Is the erosion of sediments in coastal areas an issue in CMC?
Hindi naman kasi we make sure na meron kami mga siltation ponds along our coastal areas. So meron kami mga mitigating measures. And before the runoff water na pumunta pa dun sa settling ponds sa baba, marami ng series of ponds sa upper areas. So kinokontrol na namin doon yung mga flow ng tubig. So to minimize yung mga pagbagsak ng tubig, yung mga sediments doon sa mga siltation ponds natin along the coastal areas.
Yan, sige po. So, thank you again for that po. And, yan. Congratulations daw po for bagging the Safest Mining Operation Awards. My question is, how do you manage to ensure safe mining operation?
Ang pinaka-importante talaga dyan yung people awareness. People awareness at saka yung kailangan makapag-develop ng safety culture. Iyan isa sa pinakamahirap na nangyari sa amin. Pero eventually, throughout the years nagawa din namin. So, yun talaga, people awareness and para makapag-develop ng safety culture dun sa buong minahan.
And so, kailangan talaga mag-start siya with the employees, no?
Oo. So, it starts with myself na safety is my priority parating.
Thank you again po for that. So, next question po, what are the usual problems encountered in the mining process for CMC?
Sa mining activities natin sa mina, ang usual na problems namin although meron nga tayong block model or yung mga ore body models natin through drilling, meron mga instances talaga na hindi siya nakikita, especially yung mga bedrock floats and other non-economic materials na sumasama doon sa deposit natin, which is pag example, pag nabuksan mo, saka mo lang makikita na marami palang bato. So, ayun nga, yung mga adjustments na kailangan gawin natin sa planning natin and sa mining activities natin. So, yun yung mga yung mga dilution dun sa area.
Yun po. Thank you for that. May follow-up question po dun sa previous na question about safety. Bakit daw po okay. What are the difficulties in developing a culture of safety?
Siyempre yung mindset ng mga tao, yan ang pinakamahirap talaga. Baguhin yung mindset ng mga tao. Alam mo naman sa sa culture natin, hindi pa tayo ganun ka-aware sa mga safety practices. So, kailangan mo talagang i-instill sa mga tao, then i-guide sila. Iyon ang talaga.
I guess may certain siguro practice ng mga ibang medyo matatagal na sa site na okay na to, ilang years ko nang ginagawa ito, safe pa naman ako. So
meron ganyan, ganyan talaga. So parang kinasanayan na namin to, ganyan eh. Especially yung mga matatagal na talaga dito sa minahan, matagal na namin ginagawa yan ang mindset talaga. So yung babaguhin mo sa bagong practice, medyo talagang challenging siya. Challenging siya pero kaya na, manageable yan. Kaya.
Yan po. Thank you po. And so, let me go back po sa chat. May mga, ayun. questions about the mine life, pati na rin sa MPSA. So, gaano po katagal ang remaining mine life ng CMC?
As directive, wala, I cannot divulge that information. Pero yung MPSA namin due for renewal next year. So we'll be renewing for another how many years para dito sa Valencia project. Pero as to the mine life, pasensya na. I cannot
Okay lang po.
give you the details.
Okay lang po, we understand. And sige po. So I'll just go again sa chat. There's some questions po related sa operations. Let me just try to see kung alin yung hindi ka kung ano yung hindi pa natatanong. Ayan. Let me scroll.
Hello?
Ayan. Related po sa IPs doon sa area, were there any po
IPs?
before the mine started? Walang IPs po.
Indigenous people ba ito?
Before po, nagsimula.
Wala tayong indigenous people sa Dinagat. So,
Okay po. And relating po sa mine wastes, ano po yung mga major na mine wastes na produced and paano po ang pag-treat nito or pag-mitigate ng effect sa environment?
Pwedeng paki-repeat yung question.
Yung pa.
Hello, ma'am?
Hello?
Pwedeng pa-repeat yung yung question.
Sorry, mukhang unstable ang aking internet connection. Off lang po ako ng video. Yung wastes po from the mine operations, ano po yung major na wastes produced and kung paano po yung pag-treat sa kanila?
Yeah, yung mga waste produced sa mining. So ano yung ginagawa doon?
Yes po.
So sinabi ko nga dun sa kanina, yung mga waste namin na yung mga overburden sa mga waste na ini-strip namin, ginagamit din namin siya for progressive rehabilitation. So example, this year, we will be mining out this specific area. Then next year, magbubukas kami ng bagong area. Yung mga waste doon, itatambak namin sa last year na buksan namin. So yun yung gagamitin para pang backfill doon sa naiwan na pit, na mined out na area. So kaya every year, yun yung ginagawa namin so progressive rehabilitation ng activity namin.
Sige po, thank you very much for that. How many excavators and trucks do you own or subcontracted for the whole operation?
Ang in-house excavators natin ay mga nasa 20. Konti lang siya talaga. Karamihan ng mining activities dito ay contracted out. So ang ginagawa ng in-house equipment natin, 20 na trucks at sa mga 50 na dump trucks, mostly yun yung mga rehandling activities and barge loading activities.
All right po, thank you again for that. And so let's go back to Dream. What percentage of the workforce are regular employees and what percentage are contractual workers? Do the contractual workers, were they laid off or were they given any financial assistance during the pandemic?
Based sa aking calculation, ang regular ay about 30. So 70% ang mga contractual workers. So during the pandemic, yes, they were given assistance Though, pasensya na maingay.
Okay lang po.
So during the pandemic, they were given assistance. Though hindi siya financial, pero ano siya, yung mga food packs, ganyan. And other stuffs na pwede nilang magamit.
Okay po, thank you for that.
By an upgrade in mind.
Ma'am Cheska, are you there pa po?
Yes.
Si Ma'am Cheska po ata, parang unstable yung internet nila. Hindi po, ma'am.
Ay, sorry.
Ayan. Okay na.
Okay, rinig na ba ako ulit? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay, sige. My question po related doon sa, siguro sa pandemic. Were there any positive cases of COVID-19 sa mine site or sa community? And ano po yung naging action ng...
Yes, meron kami naging positive cases dito sa mine site. So, kaya nga na-mention ko dun during yung mga challenges din namin na na-lockdown kami last year. Yun yung naging start namin ng case dito sa CMC. So, we were locked down, so yun yung naging measures ng LGU para ma-contain yung COVID-19 dito. Then we also yung mga quarantine, ginawa din namin yan, yung mga 14 days quarantine, 10 days quarantine. So yung mga for mild cases yun, yung mga moderate to severe cases, so meron mga ilan din na pinadala namin sa Surigao Hospital para mapaggamot. Pero dito sa mine site, so yun nga ginawa namin, yung mga quarantines and lockdowns din.
Yun. Ilan daw po yung na-experience yun na total cases?
Hindi ko ma-recall yung exact numbers. Ipapadala ko na lang yung
Sige po.
Yung sagot diyan sa mga cases.
Okay po. And looks like we're down to our last question so far. Thank you for answering the questions po. Recently, has there been a mining problem issue or a process optimization upon by an upgrade in mining technology use?
Oo, meron kaming recent na ano lang talaga. So I'll just share it with you lang. Nickel Asia is adopting the SAP technology, yung SAP. So from planning order to production, then monitoring, basta yung system na ginagamit para sa SAP. So may mga challenges doon na na-encounter kami, especially sa mga requirements, since medyo specialized kasi yung SAP for manufacturing. So ngayon, ina-adapt namin yung ganung system for monitoring.
Ayan. So if there are students who would like to research on this is SAP technology. Lagay ko lang siya sa chat. Okay. And I think we have another question here. Given the location of Dinat or usual damages caused by typhoons or extreme weather conditions, if any?
During Yolanda, wala kasi ako dito sa mine site noon. Pero since ang banggit dito sa akin, sobrang malakas daw ang hangin. So, ang mostly naapektuhan yung mga facilities. So, syempre yung mga normal na damages during bagyo, yung sa mga roofings and yung mga sa structures. So, yun. Pero in general sa mine mining areas, wala naman tayong mga damages. Sa mga environmental facilities, wala din.
Ayun, hello po, rinig po ba ako? Parang unstable ulit ang aking internet.
Okay ngayon, ma'am.
Okay ngayon, sige.
Yes.
Ayun, so at this point, I think naubos na natin yung mga questions.
Naghan ka ulit, ma'am Cheska.
So,
I think mas okay po if i-off
off na lang ako
muna
ng
yung...
camera. Sige,
Oo.
sorry.
Ayan, okay.
Anyway, so sa mga students, if you have any other questions na related, kunyari dito sa mga sa STMPs or sa livelihood programs, you could just forward them to us. And then, pwede namin isama doon sa additional email.
Ma'am Cheska, na-cut ka po ulit. While... Ay, na-cut ka po ulit, Ma'am Cheska. So,
Hello?
sinasabi ata ni Ma'am Cheska kanina na if you have any questions, sabihan niyo lang sa amin para ma-relay namin or ma-email namin sa CMC. Yun po ba, Ma'am Cheska?
Yes, yes.
Yes, okay.
Okay. Okay na ba? Sorry kung
Yes.
medyo may issue ang aking internet. Ayan. So, Ma'am Russ or Sir Rara, do you have anything else din po to add?
Siguro, I have a question for Engineer Gascon. Na-mention niyo po kanina na during typhoons or extreme weather conditions, walang nangyayaring mismo. So, po. So, how do you, ano po yung system ng monitoring nyo sa benches especially during off-season?
Meron kaming mga incident command system na ini-employ dito sa CMC. So during typhoon or during calamities or any events na ano namin siya, ina-activate namin yung ICS namin. So may mga designated personnel na yun kung sino yung mag-monitor ng ganitong mga areas, ano yung mga gagawin, yung mga contribution ng kanya-kanya mga departments. So may ICS system kami na ini-implement for those monitoring.
Okay po, thank you. Additional question po. So, how often po kayo nagmo-monitor during off-season?
During off-season?
Yes po.
Daily during normal na off-season days, yung mga usually. Pero pag may mga extreme weather condition talaga, so every 2 to 4 hours, especially pag may mga bagyo, i-monitor yung mga benches, mining areas, yung mga waste dumps, yung mga possible areas na mag-collapse, mas madalas yan na minomonitor during extreme weather.
Okay po. Thank you, Engineer.
And so, hello. Rinig po ba?
Yes, ma'am. Ngayon, ma'am, hindi na po. Or nagsasalita po ba kayo, Ma'am Cheska? Hindi po rinig. Hindi po rinig, ma'am. So siguro, while hindi pa narinig natin si Ma'am Cheska, Sir Rara, meron po ba kayong additional questions or sabihin sa class?
Wala naman akong question. I think
Okay po.
okay na ako sa part.
So, may additional questions sa Menti. Hindi ko po ma-open, pero hindi ko ma-open yung mismong yung nasa screen ni Ma'am Cheska. Pero yung nandito ay wait lang. Additional questions ba yan, ma'am? Yung 2/4 kasi yung nakasulat sa screen. So, may ano ba? May, or yun na yung lahat? Ayun na pala lahat. Okay.
Ayan, hello, rinig mo ba ako?
Ayan, okay na, ma'am.
Okay. Ayan, so there's a question related sa monitoring. Well, sa audits siya specifically. Virtual pa rin ba siya or nagkakaroon ng physical na MGB audits?
Yung mga MGB audits and other regulatory audits, so meron na silang mga auditors na pumupunta sa site, so physical audit na yung ginagawa nila. So last year virtual, saka mga report documents lang hinahanap nila, pero ngayon meron na mga physical.
Oh, I see po. Sige po. I think that would be our last question for now. Ayan, so since wala na rin pong dagdag si Ma'am Ross and Sir Rara, I would like to present this certificate of appreciation. Paano ba ito i-full screen? Ayan, so I'd like to present po the certificate of appreciation to Engineer Christian Gascon, Mine Operations Manager of Cagjanao Mining Corporation, for imparting their invaluable insights, experiences, and expertise as a research speaker for the EM149 Minerals Industry Visit and Assessment class, held on July 20, 2021 via an online video conference. So signed by the course handlers, and we will request a signature din po from our DEEE chairperson, Dr. Candy C. Mercado. And so once again, thank you very much po. Would you have anything else po to add, or okay na rin po ba kayo?
Oo.
Sige po.
Ano lang, I'm looking forward to working with yung mga ano natin, mga someday future mineros and mineras natin from UP Diliman. Pag nag-graduate kayo, apply kayo sa CMC. Yan lang.
Ayan. Ayan, so maybe we could have a picture for documentation then, if you could open your cameras. Yan. Sir Rara, could you be the one to take the picture?
Sige po. Ayan. Mag-open muna kayo ng cameras ninyo.
Si Janice ay nasa space.
Saka si Marcius nasa outer space. Ayun. So, hintayin namin kayo mag-on ng cam. Sige lang. 1 more minute.
Mahina ang net. Sige, okay lang kung hindi nyo kaya. At least may picture kayo.
Yes.
Sige,
Okay lang.
the
Mukhang
drive.
hindi nasasama yung iba. Sige. Bibilang na lang ako in 3, 2, 1. Smile. One more. In 3, 2, 1. Smile. Ayan. Thank you po.
Yan po. Thank you
sir,
ulit. Thank you so much po for your time.
Oras, kahit holiday.
Thank you po.
Thank you to everyone
Thank
there.
you
po. Thank you po.
Sige po.
Yung CMC group pala, if may additional questions pa kayo, send yun na lang sa amin.
Yes,
para
you just send it
masend
to us.
namin kay Engineer Gascon.
Yan.
Alright, thank you. Thank you, Engineer
Thank you
Gascon.
again po.
Thank you, sir.
Everyone.
Thank you
Happy
Enjoy
holiday.
the rest of the day.
Enjoy the rest of the day.
Bye
Hindi na po
po.
tayo umalis.
Okay, bye-bye. Dismiss na tayo. Yan, pa-pause sir ng... Sa akin pala yung recording.
Mamatay ka na.
Sige, stop ko na yung recording. Bye-bye
And
po.
yung sa